All right, guys. Well, welcome for coming. Thank you for taking time out of your day to come here. One of the main things that I spoke with leadership with George is we want to get some actual big-time agents to come in, people that are personal friends of mine, whether they're colleagues, people I've worked in the past, people that actually have been in the business and have actually been successful at what they do. Carl, even though he may not look like much, he's a very successful person. A good dear friend of mine. Just to give you a little bit of background on him, he's worked in pretty much every single luxury neighborhood in Miami, and even up to, what's the most north you've gone?
West Palm Beach.
West Palm Beach. He's been in everything from Coco Plum, Golden Beach, you name it, he's been there. He's worked with some of these names.
Hilda, Janet Pensby, Barbara.
I mean, you can Google all these people, and they're some of the most recognized agents in the luxury world. He's been in over $100 million in listings. He's been featured on TV shows such as Mega Mansions and a Spanish show called Esta es tu casa. He's been featured in The Real Deal. He recently sold to a few celebrities as well. And he owns a marketing company that he's been hired by big-time companies such as BMW, Google, Lacoste, Citibank, quintessentially, and much more than that. So I present Karl Hueck.
Way more than I've actually done, by the way. But, thank you guys for coming. Before I get started, I wanted to say thank you to George for putting this together for you guys. I think that's pretty cool how a broker can care so much about his agents, and I've seen that he's been doing weekly trainings and kind of teaching you guys different strategies in the real estate market. So I want to say thank you very much to George. So thank you. Also, too, believe it or not, I gotta say thanks to Chris, because Chris is he's a friend of mine and a colleague. Chris and I worked together in another brokerage a while ago. I've never done this before, just so you guys know. So this is my first time, but I don't mind because I just feel like this is a listing presentation, and I've been on a lot of those, so it's just another listing presentation to you guys. But Chris convinced me. He told me, hey, why don't you teach some of our agents some strategies in getting luxury listings. Just so you know, I don't want to talk about myself today because nobody cares about me or my story, but what I want to talk about is more tips and strategies on how I was able to get on $1 million to $20 million listings. I started in luxury, and all I wanted to do was luxury, but the only reason why I was able to was because I owned my own marketing company. And because of owning my own marketing company, I was able to, make 10,000 phone calls and get hung up on 2,000 times and go straight after luxury. So I learned a lot. I was able to work with a lot of people, and I learned from some of the best in the industry. So that's a little bit about myself. So today is chasing whales. Do you guys know what a whale is? Anybody? Whales? Did you guys think you were coming to a fishing class or what? No, seriously, does anybody know what whales is? Well, if you don't know what whales is, whales in the Urban Dictionary is a term that they used to use in the casinos. So, when Al Pacino would come to the casino and start spending millions of dollars, they would say there's a whale coming. So whales used in the urban world as millionaires, big bucks, commissions, whatever you want to call it. Then it kind of transitioned a little bit to the stock market, and people in the stock market will use the term for millionaires. But today we're going to be going after a different whale. The whale that we're going after is someone who's not placing a bid or buying stocks, but it's a millionaire. Somebody with a huge house, somebody, with a $1 million, $5 million, $10 million house, what does that mean for you guys? Which we'll go to the next slide. Huge commissions, right? Like, who doesn't want to make $150,000? Does anybody not want to make $150,000? Or would you guys like to learn a little bit more on how to make $150,000? So, on the luxury scale, these are your opportunities: $30,000, $150,000, $300,000, $450,000. It seems kind of crazy, right? $450,000 in one check. So getting to somebody who you're going to make a commission on this level of $30,000 to $150,000, $300,000 is a little different than your regular home, right? Like, it's not as easy as putting a $300,000 house up for sale, which I'm not saying that it's a bad thing. I always tell people, I'll trade all my luxury listings for all your $300,000 deals, because I'm sure you guys sell them pretty fast, right? But this is pretty much why I wanted to get into luxury, because I wanted to be a fucking millionaire. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wanted to make $1 million a year. I don't want to make $250,000, $150,000, which is not bad, right? I mean, you make 6 figures a year, it's great. But I figured if I can get into this world, instead of selling 400 houses at 300,000, I can sell 7 and make $1.3 million, right? So it wasn't easy, it hasn't been easy. I wanna let you guys know I'm not where I wanna be today, but I'm on the road to where I wanna be. And I have, luckily, through hard work, through failure, through a ton of failure, through failing forward, through getting hung up in my face, to a guy telling me you're a fucking idiot. I mean, I've heard it and seen it all, but I continue to move forward, and through all the failures, I learned a lot. And I went against some of the best in the industry, meaning when you guys are gonna go and get a listing of this caliber, you're gonna go against the best. And you're gonna go against guys who've sold 30 million, 100 million, and who are you? You're nobody. I'm nobody. Like, that's how I went into these listing appointments. I went in as who are you? You're the new guy on the block, you're no one. So at that point, I had to kind of take it to the next level. And those are some of the things that I'm gonna share with you guys today. And I'm gonna start with starting from scratch, right? Where do I start? So I wanted to ask you guys right now, today, if you guys were gonna go after, you guys said today, I wanna start going after $1 million deals, right? What are you gonna do? I wanna hear from some of you. Go ahead, raise your hand. Say, what would you do right now? Go ahead.
Change your mentality.
Change your mentality? 100%, but how would you change your mentality?
Think like they do.
Think like they do, and do what else? You're right there.
Surround yourself with people where they go.
100%. That's actually the CEO of a last company I used to work for. I mean, I didn't like take his suggestion, but he would tell me, go to the bars where these people hang out and just have a drink and you'll meet them, because at the end of the day, and again, not for nothing, I'm from Westchester, guys, so I ain't from fucking Coral Gables, and I didn't grow up with a silver spoon in my mouth. I'm from the hood, I call it, like from where everyone's from. And he was like, go to the bars and drink. I'm like, fuck, I don't want to go get drunk every night, But you do have to put yourself around, but what else are you gonna do? Like, how are you gonna approach them? How are you, excuse me, sir, how can I sell your house? Like, where do you start? Anybody else? Anyone? You can say whatever you want. Guys, I want to learn from you guys.
Like, become versed in what you're gonna do, don't just go with nothing.
100%, but guys, you gotta call them. Like, you gotta call them, get on the phone, get a system, door knock, whatever the case may be. You have to be in front of somebody. Sooner or later, you're gonna be in front of a millionaire, right? You're gonna be in front of a fucking whale. You're gonna have to talk to somebody. But how is that person gonna trust you? Who, Fulanita Fuentes, whatever, this person, that person. How are they gonna trust you? Go ahead.
Well, my grandfather's an investor, and first thing he tells me always is how you look.
100%, which I was gonna get to. I think I look good today, do I? I can present myself pretty good, but definitely that's one thing. If you're gonna sell to millionaires, you gotta feel like a millionaire, you gotta look like a millionaire. Because unfortunately, guys, we live in Miami, and everyone sees everything through the eyes. The only time, there's an agent, a friend of mine, Brett Harris. And the guy wears, I went to his open house and he was barefoot. He was drinking a beer, and I was like, do you have, hey man, can I have a drink? And he's like, yeah, there's one in the fridge. Like, dude, like a bum, but he sells 100 million a year. Jesus. So he's allowed to wear no shoes and walk around the house, you understand? But until we get to that level, you can't do that, so don't do that. Definitely don't open the door without shoes on. All right, so I'm gonna go to the next slide. All right, this is kind of how you're gonna reach somebody, okay? And again, I'm gonna go through the things that work for me, but I am a huge believer, okay, in everything in the world works, all right? I know people who are millionaires that they send out flyers in neighborhoods. I know people who are on the phone all day long and they're super successful. Email, text, whatever whatever the case is, whatever that you want to do that you feel comfortable with, you just have to go full force. There's something I really, really hate in this industry, and I always see it on a lot of new agents, and I call it the pajarito syndrome. Everybody does something for 5 minutes, and then someone comes and says, hey, well, I heard this works. Then they go do that, then they go do this, and they only do something for 2 weeks, and it never fucking works, ever. It's never gonna work like that. I've been going after luxury for 5 years, and I just got my feet wet like a year ago, okay? Like, meaning like I am like the baby in the luxury world, but because I kept doing the same thing over, fuck, it's tiring, trust me. But that's what I want, right? I want to sell $20 million houses. I want to be in the fucking front cover of a magazine. I want to be the best. So I'm going to keep going and keep going and keep going. But if you do anything for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, just don't do it. Don't waste your time. It's not gonna work, ever. It's never gonna work. So these are just some of the forms that you guys can use, but you gotta get in front of the person, right? So again, this thing is from A to Z. I use the phone. I started with the phone. That's how I felt when I first was gonna call somebody to get on the phone. I have had the worst things happen to me on the phone. I had a guy, I'll never forget this story, I wanna share with you guys. So I'm gonna say a few stories as I move along. Like I said, I don't wanna make this about me, but you guys have to hear this. One guy was on the phone and he told me, do you know what rape smells like? I swear to God, do you know what rape smells like? And I go, excuse me, sir? He goes, you call me again, I'm gonna fucking rape you. And I was like, oh, I swear to you, I'm not kidding you, dude, horrible. Like, I heard that, I'll never forget that story. I had another guy tell me, dude, you're a fucking idiot. How do you think I'm gonna sell you my house? I didn't even fucking know you, asshole. And he hung up on me. Like, dude, you get beat down. Like, I've been beat to hell and back. So, like, you guys can say whatever you want about tonight, I don't care. So, the phone, and I tell everyone, I tell Chris, I tell everyone in the world, the phone to me, out of everything I've seen, is the best. It's the hardest, because you do get beat down. People fucking try you, they hang up on you. You have to go through 2,000 to get to one. It's hard, but how else are you gonna get to these people? You know, how are you gonna get to Mr. Goldstein, who owns a $9 million house? Or you door knock. I door knock as well. 2 days ago, I was door knocking. I walked to this is a true fucking story, crazy. I walked to a house, the maid is there. She's like, ay, sí, quieren vender la casa porque el closet es muy chiquito y the woman doesn't like it. So guess what I did? I was like, ay, muchas gracias. I made a letter and it says, need more space for your clothes. I got the house for you. And I send them a letter and I have a 6-letter system going to the house because now I'm inside of that. I went to the neighbor's house and she let me inside of the house. She was like, I don't want to sell today, but maybe in 6 months. So now, I mean, I can do 10 classes on other tactics, but I'll hit her up from Land There and See, I call it. So I'll be on top of that person for 6 months, let's say. And another thing before I move on to the next slide is you have to follow up. You're never gonna get a listing. You think you're gonna walk in a door and you're gonna get that listing? You might. All my listings in the millions have always been 1 to like 6 appointments. And finally, I get the listing signed because it's follow up, follow up, follow up. So let me get to the next slide. Okay, expired and neighborhood calling. So this is really important, and this is what I'm going to start getting into, strategies and things that I've used, because I failed so much just calling all over the place, right? So you get the dialer systems, which I'm going to share with you, and I think George has them as well. Yeah. But most dialer systems, they have expireds for you guys, which you guys know, Mojo Cells, Vulcan 7, there's one called ZenCall. There's a whole bunch of them that you can get leads from. So you get leads from and you go to a certain neighborhood, but what would happen to me in the beginning? So when I would first get on the phone, the dialer system, it would call everywhere. So it might call Golden Beach, and then Coco Plum, and then, you know, Gables by the Sea, whatever the case may be. And dude, I didn't know shit. Like, you know, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I'm like, this guy's telling me about one thing, this guy's telling me another thing, and I felt like an idiot because I didn't know how to speak to these people. People are educated, they know everything that's going around in the neighborhood, and I was like, fuck, this is not good, and I wasn't getting nowhere. People would hang up on me. They would even give me like the intention of like wanting to talk to me. I had no fucking clue what I was saying. I was lost like completely, and I was like, dude, I don't know what I'm doing, so I have to change my strategy a little bit. So after calling the whole world, calling from West Palm Beach to Homestead, just so you know, I said I can't do that anymore. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to break it down. Hold on. I'm going to break it down, and this is to my next slide. This is how it all gets started, ladies and gentlemen. This is where all the juicy shit comes in. You guys are ready? Are you guys ready or no? Yeah. No, stop taking pictures, bro. I don't want. No, just kidding. Nah, just kidding. Yeah, you owe me money. 10% of your next deal. All right. So, all right. Step 1. This is super important. So, I would pick an area. I wanted luxury, right? So I started with, I'll never forget, 33143 with Coral Gables. Which 33143 is like Coral Gables. You have a little bit of South Miami, like Ponce Davis, like those little areas right there. So I picked the area, and every Sunday night before I would call on Monday, I would take like an hour or two, and I would learn everything that was going on in the area, like at the moment. So like I would take notes, which I'm gonna show you the notes that I would take. So I knew what was going on in the area, and I would put it in front of me. So now when I had those fucking doctors and lawyers on the phone, I was like, yeah, the last 3 sales, I was an animal, I was a robot because I knew everything and I would keep it in front of me. So now these people would talk back to me. They would reply to me. They would say, holy shit, this guy knows kind of what he's talking about. So once you get the notes down, you get the information that you want. Now again, guys, we can go on 5,000 things of information that you can get. I'm gonna share with you some of the things that I did. You guys can go beyond what I did, or you guys don't have to go as far as what I did. You understand? So this is just so you can relate to the seller. You can relate to the whale, to the millionaire that's gonna give you the opportunity to go to his house. You're gonna show up in his house in 3 days. Then what are you gonna do? We're gonna get to that now, chill. All right, so next, after you do that, oh shit, I went too much. Okay, so this was my spreadsheet that you guys are gonna see right now. So I would get all closed sales in the last 180 days. Now, depending on the size and what you want. So one time I was on a $20 million deal, right? And I didn't know jack shit, but I was listing a house that was next to Karl Slim. Do you guys know who Karl Slim is? Karl Slim is the 4th richest man in the entire world.
Yeah.
I was listing the house right next to him. So how good did that sound? Now, I'm gonna talk to you guys a little bit about trophy listings. I was overpriced as fuck, right? I was never gonna sell that deal. But how good does it sound when I say I listed a house next to the 4th richest man in the world? So I took that as a marketing expense. Because that listing didn't sell, but I got like 3 more because of that. Because when I said I fucking had a listing next to the 4th richest man in the world, the fucking millionaires would eat it up. Do you understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So sometimes you will get overpriced listings, but you gotta make sure you can use it as leverage to get more listings. I only take those when I know that I'm, like right now I have 2 condos coming in the millions. I don't give a fuck about those condos, but I'm working on this guy that's a $10 million penthouse and I want that bitch bad. So I'm gonna take the 2 condos, so I want that motherfucker bad as hell. You understand? That $10 million penthouse is insane. So I'm taking these 2 condo penthouses that I don't give a shit about, but I'm doing the sickest marketing campaign in the world. So when I sit in front of that $10 million deal, I look like $20 million, you understand? So you guys will make the decision on what you can use as leverage. Maybe you're overpriced, but maybe you use that house and knocking on all the doors to get another house that will sell, you understand? So you guys can gauge that. Now, average price per square foot, old, remodeled, and new. Why did I do that? Because you have the guy with the original house, you have the guy with the remodeled house, and you got the guy with the new construction house, and they're all different prices. So you cannot compare with the RPR. RPR is what every basic human realtor uses, and I throw that shit in the garbage, just so you know. I eat you guys up that show the RPR. I've been to listing appointments with folders like this high up that they interviewed 25 fucking realtors and I ate them all up like that, and I won the listing. But you have to go into detail because these people know, do you understand? So I would break it up, and this is why I'm telling you I did this because I started in Coral Gables. So you got the old little original houses, you got the new construction, and then you got the guy who maybe did an aluminum roof. So I wanted to know everything. So I broke it up into price per square foot, old, remodeled, and new. And then all active sales, 10 original, whatever, 5 remodeled, I'm just writing the numbers. And the absorption rate of the area. Super, do you guys know what the absorption rate is? Anyone? No. What that is, it's a well, the absorption rate is how much inventory there is. So the way you calculate it is closed sales with actives in the market, and then there's a calculator for it that I have on a slide here. I'm gonna give it to you guys, so that way you guys can tell a millionaire, like, you know, John, your house is a little overpriced, and unfortunately we have 2 years of inventory in the area. So either you're gonna sell or you're gonna sit on the market with Mr. Smith for 2 years. You understand? So you use this to your advantage on your pitch when you're talking to him, which I'm gonna get into that in a little bit. Price per square foot, condition, price per square foot, remodel, price per square foot, new construction, percentage, original, remodeled, and new construction. What does that mean? So I'm gonna give you guys a percentage calculator here, right? So I would even break down from original, remodel, to new construction, the percentage of how much they were selling more per each category. So when I talked to Mr. Dickhead with the original house, that he was like, oh, you know, I love my house. Mike Tyson sat on my couch. Nobody cares. But then you say, well, you're super lucky, sir, because right now it's showing the average days on the market for homes in original condition like yours are selling in 30 to 60 days. Unfortunately, for the other people who are spending all this money on their house, what a waste of money, John. They're taking 80 to 120 days to sell their house. You see how I'm always positive? I'm always talking on you. You don't ever say me, I can do before, like I love myself, right? So I was like, me, I can do this, I can do that. Nobody gives a shit about you. Nobody. They only care about them. What you can do for them and how you can get them the most money for their house. So every time you talk to someone, you tell them you, what I can do for you, how I can sell your house. So I take everything from here, where was I? Percentage? Where is it?
Percentage right now.
Original.
Right up.
Oh, right here?
Above 20K.
I take this and I use that to my advantage depending who my seller is, right? If I got new construction, then I tell him where he can be on price point over remodeled houses. If I have remodeled houses, I tell them, well, you're selling only like, let's say 15 to 20% over original homes. You understand? So you don't want them to overprice the house. At the end of the day, which we're gonna move to this in a little while, we're gonna get sellers who think their fucking shit don't stink, right? They think their house is worth $27 million. And that is the hardest thing to get through, because unfortunately, you're gonna get someone who's stubborn and they don't care. Oh shit. So what you wanna do for that, hold on one second, is you don't want to fight them. You don't wanna fight them, but you wanna be on their side. You understand? The minute you fight with your seller, like you tell him, oh no, you're a dickhead, your shit's overpriced, and he's like, oh this, you lost, you're gone. So you gotta try to stay on the positive side, you understand? So, lots, and the only reason why I did lots is because I was in Coral Gables and some of the places have acres, some of them have under 20,000 square feet. So, and then you always get Mr. Smith that says, well, my lot is so much bigger than his lot. So I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna split it between the big lots and the little lots. So when I get big lot John, I know what to say to big lot guy, and then small lot, I can do the conversion rate. So you see what I'm saying, how I know everything? So the big guy has a lot, I can come back at him. Okay, well your houses are selling about 13.1% more than houses with 20,000 square feet. So that means we can go, sir, about $120,000 more because it makes sense and you still have a sellable product. You see how I just said it so fast without having to go, no, I know what I'm talking about. I'm smart, I know the area, I know everything that's going on, I know the percentage rate. And the best part is when you can go, here you go, sir, look at it for yourself, and it's all fucking in black and white, and you look like $5 million. You're about to make $30,000. Like, you need to know this shit. Don't you want to take another hour or 2 hours and study this material before you're about to make 30 grand, $100,000? Like, doesn't it make sense for you to be on your fucking toes and know everything? So these are some of the reasons that I would learn all of this. Okay, so again, I'm a little crazy, so I went even as deep as barrel tile roof, aluminum, and original. Because then you got the remodeled guys. Well, I have a new roof. Lucky, John. Aluminum roofs are great. Did you know that they're selling at 5.2% higher than houses with barrel tile roof? Mediterranean is so last year. Do you see what I'm saying? Me and that guy are best fucking friends right now. He loves me. And I know the market. So I did that because I always got those guys who were like, oh, but I have a new roof. Or, oh, I have this. So I was like, what's like kind of the most important thing? Remodeled, new construction, or original condition. That's why I did that. Now, waterfront and dry lots, I only put that there because I sell on the beach, and sometimes you have waterfront properties, sometimes you have dry lots, so you gotta separate that. Check this out, this is super fucking important. You don't even know the Oscar fucking nominee performance I would do with this right here. I would get the last names and find out everything about the last 3 sales closest to the house. Because these people fucking all know each other. And then how many times did I lose deals? And people would be like, oh, the Johnsons, you know, they sold blah, 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 whatever the fuck, right? So since I learned everything, I would be like, John, like, you didn't hear the Smiths sold their house, and did you see that kitchen? Oh, you know the Smiths? Of course I knew the Smiths. Now, if you guys don't know the Smiths, I'm gonna tell you how to rebuttal that really quick. No, I didn't know the Smiths, but I knew the agent and he told me all about it. You see how I just fixed it? Because if that guy really knows the Smiths, you're fucked, because you don't even know. So guys, you gotta be ready. You gotta be ready for everything. Again, this is an opportunity. I'm about to make 100 grand. You don't think I'm gonna learn the last 3 people who lived there, where they went, where the best restaurants. I even learned the best restaurants in the area just in case. I said, have you tried the spinach dip at Hillstones? Oh my God, it's delicious. Why don't we have lunch on Thursday? You understand what I'm saying? You're relating to them. They're things that they're used to, that they already know about. They live in the area, so you want to be like them. Look, you said it. You want to, or who said it over there? That you want to go to a bar, you want to hang out with people. Or maybe I said it. I don't know what I'm saying. But you know what I mean, right? Like, you relate to the people. So This is what I do, and this is the notes that I get in front of myself before I even make the phone call. So imagine, I have all this information, it's Sunday night. I just finished watching Game of Thrones. Now it's time to get all this information together and get ready for my calls in the morning. You got what I'm saying? Whether, again, guys, remember, whether it's calls, whether it's emails, whether it's text message, whatever it is, I don't know what works for you. If it was in an email, I would do a market analysis, let's say in the area, and I would send it out. Door knock, I would just go with that information. So be ready, be prepared. You have one shot on the phone. One shot to get in front of these people and walk into their door before they tell you go fuck yourself. I don't want to fucking deal with it. You got it? All right, so next slide. Now, this is kind of what my sheet would look like. So I'm gonna go through this pretty fast. This is my sheet that I'm ready to call. 33143. Close sales, 6 original, 245 a foot, 95 to 98% list to sale price, 3 remodeled. This is just kind of showing you a breakdown. Remodeled sells at 20% higher than original. New construction sells 10% more than remodeled and 32% more than original. Average days on market, 43. Average days on remodeled, on new construction. So this is everything that I showed you, just kind of what I would put on my computer. You know, I would put it on my wall. So when I would make the phone call, I would know kind of the information on the house. Hey, John, your house is in the market. Why didn't it sell? What's going on here? I can't believe this. So, what did I put?
Shitty shape.
Oh, okay, exactly. I want it to be exactly like how I understand this. And then again, the Newmans, they sold at that 1.75, 244, 56, whatever. So, everything that I just had on the last slide, here is where I put it together and I have it in front of me ready for my phone call. So, I'm ready, guys. Like, you guys need to be ready. You're about to make $100,000 in one sale. 100 grand, it's a lot of money. So this is just a little bit of information about that. So let me get to the next slide. Now what we're going. All right, program. So now you guys can take a picture of this. That's Mojo Sales, the callers, and then those 2 links under. I don't know what the websites are, but those are the ones I use. You can use that. This will give you a percentage calculator. Like if you guys want to get deep, deep into what sells more than the last one and, whatever's in the neighborhood. It's real simple. You just plug in the numbers and it gives you how much percentage it goes up, how much it goes down. And this will give you the absorption rate, which will tell you how much is available inventory in the area. So that way, when you're talking to someone, if there's 2 years of inventory, you guys are fucked. You better either be at selling price or you're never selling that house, yeah? But now if there's only 30 days of inventory, that thing's gonna sell like hot Cuban in the morning, like it's gone in 2 seconds. So that'll help you with that and just help you understand of what's going on in the area. Everybody take a picture of that already?
Yes.
Everybody good? Yeah, you guys understand that? Am I going too fast? Because I drank 2 cups of coffee. All right, guys. You got the listing appointment. John said, you know what? I would love to sit with you. Now what? Huh? No? No, hold on. I want to hear, guys, I want to learn from you too. So I'm hoping to leave this, presentation learning a little bit from you guys as well. So now what do you do? Anybody, what do you do? You're about to go to a $2.9 million deal to make 90 grand.
Go to a luxury car rental.
Go rent a Maserati or a Bugatti or something.
Look, you guys are wrong. You don't need all that, I swear. If you know what you're talking about, you gotta dress, you dress the part, but you don't need to show up. Sometimes these millionaires, man, they're the most humble people, the richest people I've met. They look, no, sometimes they feel like hero come mierda. Like seriously, like I've met people who are the wealthiest people in the world and they look like bums. Like I don't tell them that, of course, only you guys know that. They look seriously like bums and they're worth $100 million. It's insane, it's crazy. So you don't need all that. Don't think you need all that. Of course, you gotta dress the part, you gotta be a professional. This is business. You're a professional who's gonna sell one of their biggest assets, right? So what do you guys do? Come on, guys, talk to me.
Before we go,
Right, you just got off the phone with Mr. Smith.
I say get in front of the mirror and start practicing what you're gonna say.
Okay, what are you gonna say in the mirror? No, I'm dead serious, guys. This is real shit. I want you guys to be prepared, man. I'm not fucking around. Like, I know I'm joking around. Well, you just got a $3 million appointment. What do you do right now?
You go deeper than we
Ready?
prepare the message. Like you
This is
prepare for
what's going
phone
on.
call. Right now you're there.
100%. You're super close to exactly what you have to do. You already started, so good for you. You're halfway already because you kind of learned the area. Oh, did you hear that? Holy shit! That was fucking horrible. Go. Hold on, you already. Yo, that was horrible. Did I
We should probably go to the neighborhood.
What else you think? Go to the neighborhood and do what?
Study, like if this was the
Study.
final, not the midterm.
Yeah,
No, but
study.
all right, but that's what I want to know, guys. For real, like I want to know what are you gonna study?
I mean, if you just gave
Yeah.
all this stuff that you needed to look just for cold calling, I can only imagine how much deeper you need to go for the actual. And
Incredible.
Every
Oh,
single
Steve,
house
excuse me.
Start researching the guy's social.
Yo,
Get to know him.
Gee, come on, guys, for real. I really want to hear from you guys because I want to know too. No, yeah, well, that's for sure. You gotta have everything on point, but I want to know, like, I kind of want to hear a little bit from you guys.
Find out who the seller is.
That's
Figure who
great.
he is.
A 100%. Anybody else?
You have to find a way to build a relationship and build rapport. Because at the
Rapport
end
is
of the day,
great.
they're not gonna give their listing if they don't like you.
100%. And you guys are gonna see when I get to a few slides more that sometimes you might do all this shit and they just love you and they give you the listing. And you did all that shit for nothing, but it's never for nothing. I'll tell you more about that later. But okay, guys, we got a $3 million deal. What do? We don't just call Karl and say, Karl, prepare everything. That sounds great, right? Because then you go in and there's fucking theme music playing and you're good. No, what do you guys do seriously?
Prepare your marketing
So
material.
what's your marketing material?
Flyers, pictures. Look, this is how it's gonna sell. This is what we're gonna do. This is
How?
how we're gonna attack the market.
Keep going, I love
do you
Billboards.
study your opponent?
it. Billboards. That's fucking amazing. No, I'm serious. I'm fucking gonna put your house on a billboard. You're selling my next house.
Basically, I would think is, hey, listen, this is my plan of attack of how I'm gonna sell this property for this amount of money. And
So
just-
you're gonna do
just
a
have
billboard, and again, I love, yo, me and you, we're working together. I like that guy right there. So billboard, what's your marketing plan?
You know, print out slides, flyers, you know.
Anybody else? This guy's on the right path. Listen, he's got a plan. He's at least already thinking about a plan to go to a house. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You just gotta now put that in black and white, make it beautiful, and execute, because if not, you're fucked, because you're gonna lose it, because first of all, you're going there, and you're going against me, and you're going against Riley Smith, who sells 20 times more than me, and you're going against Miguel Salvac, who sells a gazillion, and you're going against the fucking biggest guys in the world. So what is gonna separate you from the big dogs? Because that's what I did, guys. I walked in a room and I went against the fucking best. So which, I gotta tell you a fucking crazy story, or it's a really funny story. So one time, there was Hilda Jacobson. Remember Hilda? So she had these developers, and she didn't want to work on their listing anymore because it was overpriced. I just started real estate. And I was like, man, Hilda, she was like, oh, I'm gonna refer these developers to a realtor. So she goes, they're interviewing 3 realtors from DE where I was. She's like, you can interview 2 if you want, but you're going against, 3 of the best in the office. And I was like, fuck, all right, fuck it, whatever. What do I have to lose, right? I just got in the game, I wanted to sell, it was 850 grand. So to me, holy shit, I was like, yo, I just came up, oh my God, I can't believe I'm getting this opportunity. So the developer comes, and he's in a room like this in glass, and he interviews the first agent, and I'm walking by like this, looking every minute to see what's going on in the room. The next agent comes, I walk by again, I see what's going on in the room. The next agent, I walk by again, I see what's going on in the room. All of them have like this papers, I swear to God, I'll never forget this. They all have papers, and they're all going like this. And when I look at the papers, guys, it's the RPR report. You guys know what the RPR report is?
Yeah.
So they're all talking about comps. Everyone already fucking knows what their house is worth. You understand? They just don't want to hear it. So I walk in the room, I'm the last one. I'm like, Jesucristo, give me a chance, right? So I walk in the room, and I'm like, hello, Mr. Developer, how are you? Blah, blah, blah. And he goes, oh, nice to meet you, whatever. So I go, sir, hi, I just wanted to show you this. I go, you know what this is? He goes, I can see it in his face already. It was the RPR report. And I'm like, yeah, it's the RPR report. And I go, whoosh, and I threw it, and I swear to God, I threw it in the garbage. I go, this is fucking garbage. You already know what the house is worth. You know where your price is at. What your house needs is marketing advantage. I don't know, le tiré una mierda there. I'm gonna do this. I learned that the underline was coming behind the Metro Rail. I was talking about my marketing campaign, and guess who won, homeboys? Your boy right here. I killed it, I beat everybody there. He gave me the job, and he is now my developer, so you guys know. and I'll get to that part later. Okay, so what we're gonna do now is I just wanted to tell you that story that you saw how I thought outside the box. I was going against people that were better than me, but I already knew that this guy, again, because I was looking through the window, so I cheated. But I already knew that these people were just sharing the same RPR thing. So you guys want to think, you know, getting to you're about to go to a listing appointment, think a little bit outside the box. You know what I mean? Remember, I'm nobody. You're nobody. We are going to become somebody, all of us. You got what I'm saying? If you want to get into the luxury world, you're going to climb up the ladder little by little, which I'm doing right now myself. If any of you guys are doing it, you know, you're going to climb up little by little. So be creative. You have to work 20 times harder than everybody else, than all the other big dogs that are in the game. All right, so I'm going to eat you guys alive right now. So I'm going to the listing appointment with you. Oh, I went the wrong way. Okay, this is something that I bring up because this is how I got in the luxury world, okay? I got in the luxury world because it is very common, and you're gonna see it a lot when you get into the luxury game. Agents work with each other. You got what I'm saying? Agents use other agents to help them to do business. And whatever category that it is, 300,000, 800,000, 10 million, 20 million, you'll see teams, you'll see people who work together. It's very common. And one of the ways that I got into the luxury world was I used my talent. I own a marketing company, so I know how to do anything in the world in marketing. When it comes to marketing, I don't market for agents, so don't ask me to do it when we leave because I don't do it. But I can do anything I want in the world. So I would work with other agents. They would ask me to work with them in listings, and I would do the marketing side of it, vice versa. If I have a deal right now, I work all my deals with another agent. All of them. Only because, thank God, knock on wood, is there wood here? No, that's not wood. No, there's no wood. Well, fuck it. Thank God I have enough business right now that I can't handle it myself. So I have to work with somebody because if not, I'd probably go fucking crazy. You know what I'm saying? So it's very common that, let's say, that you're gonna go do a billboard and you're my next partner on my next deal. You're gonna go get a listing right now. And what's your name again? Adrian. You tell Adrian, Adrian, I know you specialize in XYZ. I would love for you to help me. Because guys, it's 10 times better to make 50% of something than 100% of nothing. You understand? So if somebody can help you, you understand? If someone can help you execute, if someone can help you, look, when you get these $1 million deals, guys, don't think you're gonna go do a fucking photo shoot for $200 and that's it, you're done. They're gonna fucking laugh at you and you're gonna be fired in 10 minutes because these people, the big dogs that go, they spend 10 grand, 15 grand. This is luxury. You're gonna make $100,000. Don't go with that fucking, bullshit of a little photo shoot and this. You better have billboard shit like this guy. This guy's got the right idea. That's billboard right there. That guy's got the right idea because that's what these people want to hear. You're talking to a millionaire. You're not gonna go there with croquetas and fucking bread in your open house. That shit ain't happening. Like you're going there with caviar and fucking, Jim Beam and shit, whatever the fuck you want. Well, I just say Jim Beam because they actually sponsored all my open houses. But whatever, you get my drift. Like you're in a different world. So if somebody can help you with whatever it is, expenses, knowledge, closing. I work with agents that close and do the real estate transaction. Why? Because I fucking hate it. I hate that part, but I love marketing. So I love getting a mansion, and to me it's like a canvas. I can now do whatever the fuck I want, all this crazy shit, blah, 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 blah. But I always team up with somebody that does the transaction part, that does the negotiation, that's fucking a killer. Because together, we're fucking yin and yang, you understand? On everything, as of like, right now, for instance. Actually, I'm working with Estefania on a listing right now. Her and I got a listing together. She's doing half of the transaction, I'm doing half of the transaction. And trust me guys, it's not because she has a pretty face, she works. Because if it was about good looks, I wouldn't be working with Chris over there. Because Chris and I actually are working on a deal that we've been nurturing for a year. But why am I working with Chris on that deal? Because there was a moment in my life where I was importing leads from other countries, but Chris was on it. He was on the phone, he was a fucking killer, he was always following up. So I told Chris, do you want to go halves with me on leads? And again, you always need help with something. Chris made 500 phone calls, and luckily we got a whale. And we're still working on the whale right now, whatever the case may be. If I didn't give it to Chris, guys, to help me, that whale would be gone. He'd be sinking to the bottom of the ocean. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. So I don't give a shit that I'm getting 50% of whatever Chris and I make. Because if I didn't have his help, I couldn't do it by myself. If I don't have her help on that listing, I can't do it by myself. Do you understand what I'm saying? So in the event, and again, I only say this to you guys if you need it. Do you understand? If you feel that you can handle the situation on your own, feel free, work it on your own. I'm just saying, don't be afraid to work with somebody. I've gone to listing appointments with my colleagues, and I've helped them win. I've lost a ton of them, you know, like anything. With other people, colleagues have called me and told me, hey Karl, I got this fucking crazy deal, I need your help, whatever the case may be. And I believe you should, if you need it. So take that into consideration always. And remember, 50% of 100 grand is way better than zero, right? Think about it, it's 50,000 bucks. That's a lot of money, man. I like that one. All right, next slide. Okay, this is super, super important. You got to the listing appointment. I need you guys to understand your seller. You're gonna get two different kind of sellers. Since you guys are calling neighborhoods and you're calling expireds, right? Because that's where I'm going with it. So I'm, again, I'm going around what I'm doing. You're gonna get two types of sellers, and I've learned this because of all the listing appointments that I've been on. I go with this huge fucking marketing campaign that's this big, and I'm gonna fly a fucking unicorn to their backyard and all this crazy shit, and they don't even care because all they care about is this. So that is the part that we spoke about earlier. All the information, square footage, percentage rates. You need to mirror your client. If you see your client is all about money, you need to go straight into the money. You understand what I'm saying? Because he doesn't give a fuck about your marketing. You know what I mean? Because you're going to be talking about, I'm going to do this and this, and he doesn't care. Because I've seen it. I've been there talking, and I'm so excited, and I'm doing all these awesome things, and the guy can care less of what I'm talking about. Because all he cares about is how am I going to get him the most money for his house. So if he wants to play that game with me, no problem, sir. I'm ready to rock and roll. I fucking know everything about everything about everything. What do you want to know? Boom, like I was telling you guys, 17.9%, 18.9, 150,000, $245 a square foot. The last 6 years in Golden Beach, when I had that $20 million listing, I went back 3 years. And I knew everything that went on in the whole entire island for the last 3 years. I knew the separation of islands, I knew all the waterfront homes, I knew the price per square foot. I separated the land value of the home to build them. Yo, I went so disgustingly deep that if you went into a house, I would have ate you alive. You couldn't tell me anything because I learned everything. So that when the agents would come, oh, that's another thing. When you guys get into a luxury world, the agents are going to treat you like dog shit because you just got into their little circle. You understand what I'm saying? So they're going to try to treat you like you're beneath them, like you're, who the fuck are you? Like that. So when those agents talk to me like that, ooh, I'll just go to war with them right there because I know everything you know. You're not better than me. I'm just as good as you are. So use that to your advantage. Know everything that's going on for Mr. Seller that cares about money. Now, you're going to get expired that had the big fucking cool, amazing agent, but the agent didn't do anything, right? He didn't do shit. He just got the listing because he's a great agent. And now, what are you going to do? That's when Mr. Billboard comes in. That's when you're going to start sharing what are you going to do for the listing? What is your plan for the listing? How are you going to get his house in front of the world so that people can come buy his house? Because there are these people who care about this. I've met 1 million of these, and I've met a lot of these. It's kind of like a 50-50 ratio, by the way. Like, you always get a little bit of both, and then of course you'll get the one who cares about both. But do you see how you guys are completely prepared now? Like, you're prepared. You have your plan. You know the area from A to Z. What can stop you? That's it. Like, now at the end of the day, it's kind of like your personality. You know what I mean? Like, you walk in, of course, be personable. I'm not all of you, so I don't know your personality. I'm super bubbly. Some people think I'm gay. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I walk in, I talk to people, I laugh. They're like, this girl calls me sabadico. Like, people think I'm insane. People think I'm crazy or whatever. That's me. That's my personality. It works for me. Now, you guys handle the situation the way you guys want to handle it, and hopefully the people fall in love with you and you get the listing, and you're good to rock and roll. Okay. What the fuck, man? All right. So now, I'm in the listing appointment, right? What have you done, and who are you? Billboard. What have you done? Who are you?
Bro, one of the largest, fastest growing real estate brokerages in South Florida.
And who are you?
Lifestyle International Realty.
I know, but what do you do?
We sell $1 million houses. We got over 800 agents.
How many houses have you sold?
We've sold 500, 600 houses, 100 houses this last month.
Listen, man, I'm gonna tell you guys. No. All bullshit aside. side, man, that guy's fucking good. He's on the spot, man. He's talking and he's moving. No, for real, Billboard, I like it. He's really, really good. The guy's talking. You know, at least he's fucking moving forward. He's not getting stuck. That guy has the right idea right there. Seriously, you guys think he's funny, but he's better than all of you. He's fucking talking. He's rebuttaling. I'm giving him the list, and you all lost. But you see what I'm saying? You have to understand what you're gonna say, and you gotta be ready because they're gonna ask you. Because what did I say before? We are nobody. We're nothing. We're zero. We're shit. So what have you done, sir? And again, I even say this for myself, so I'm gonna teach you guys something I say. I have been on $100 million in listings, but I haven't sold them, right? I haven't sold them. Straight the fuck up, I haven't. So what do I say? I've had the experience. So I always use everything to a positive. Sir, fortunately for me, I've had the experience of working on over $100 million in real estate. I have worked with the best agents in the world. And why have I worked with them, sir? I'm just a guy who's trying to build my own career on real estate. But they've called me because I'm the Navy SEAL in this business. I come in and I blow shit up. I'm the best that there is and they need me. So the people who sell 50 million need Karl Hueck because I'm better than all of them. So sir, why would you go with an agent that's sitting on the top of the mountain and he's full as fuck when I'm the hungry wolf on the side of the mountain and I want to kill him and be the best? I'm ready to work, please give me the business. Ask for the business, be relentless, tell them you want it. Look in their eye, like, yo, fucking cry. Even wear glasses to fucking appointments. Didn't I wear glasses to one of our appointments? Estefanina and I went to an appointment, and she's like, why the fuck are you wearing glasses? I'm like, because I look more intellectual. You guys think I'm fucking with you, man. I will say whatever. I will give an Academy Award performance. But do you see how I used even negatives in a positive? That's kind of where I'm going with this. Like, I'm not the guy who sells 100 million a year. But I'm the guy who's working to build myself to get to that level. You know, yes, I've been on $1 million transactions, I've sold them, but that's how I protect myself. For instance, I'm just talking about me, guys. Again, you guys would use whatever you want to use to say, I studied the area and I grew up here for the last 5 years. I'm pretending like I'm somebody else right now. I haven't sold in the area, sir, but I know that if I get the opportunity to sell one house in this area, I'm going to be the greatest agent that ever worked in this area. Why? Because I grew up here, my family grew up here, and unfortunately, sir, my grandma passed away down the street about 5 years ago. So, sir, the only thing that would make sense for me is to do this for my grandma. And if you can give me the opportunity to change my life and to change everything around me for me and my family, and grandma will be so proud, I would never, never be able to thank you for what you've done. I don't give a fuck. Say whatever the fuck you want. Do you understand what I'm saying? But do you see what I'm saying? Yo, you gotta fucking do that. Like, what do you have to lose? So, you have to fight for it because you're going against the best. And sometimes, guys, let me tell you, sometimes you guys come sitting up here and you're fucking laughing and shit. I've given those performances in one listing. Do you understand? But I gave it that fucking crazy shot that all you fucks are laughing. I got fucking 20 million in this. You understand what I'm saying? And no, but that's what I'm trying to say. Like, yo, Billboard, I love you. I'm working with that guy. But no, seriously. So those are the things that I want. When they say, what have you done and who you are, take your negatives and turn them into positives. Always forward motion. You understand? Now, a quick story that I want to tell you guys. There was these guys that were bidding for construction jobs. And the first construction company came up and they said, we have 200 trucks and 4 bulldozers. The second one said, I have 100 trucks and 4 bulldozers. And the third guy said, no, I don't have anything. What do you mean you have anything? You're going against this guy. So I don't have anything, but I have the will and the power to get this job done. And what I'm gonna do is if you bid on my, if you bid on my bid, I'm gonna buy all new machines just to work on your project. So your project will be worked on by a whole entire new fleet of machines. The guy won the fucking bid. The guy gave him the fucking bid instead of the people who had way more than him. And what I'm trying to tell you guys is that all those big dogs have more than us, like we're the underdogs. But if you use your strengths and if you use what you got, your negatives into positive, you never know if you might win that person over, okay? So keep that in your head. Your brokerage, lifestyle. You better praise that motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? You guys better say lifestyle's the best shit and I don't know lifestyle, so I'm just gonna throw shit. We have 6 offices, 10,000 agents. We're growing worldwide. We just bought container ships. We're sending flyers to China, whatever the fuck you want to say. But you guys have to praise your brokerage because if they've never heard of your brokerage and it's happened to me, you have to explain a little bit about your brokerage and how the brokerage is gonna help sell the home. You got what I'm saying? The brokerage where you are is your foundation. You understand what I'm saying? Now, very important, have information, always to give them. Sometimes they don't even look at the shit, but you wanna praise your brokerage. Your brokerage is the best shit that ever happened in this world. Mr. Smith, you're lucky that I work for Lifestyle Real Estate. Because Lifestyle Real Estate cares about the cash. What the fuck? You act. I'll sit up here and do a whole story if you want. We'll get to that later. Okay, your plan for their house. This is super important. This is huge right here. What are you gonna do for their house? I didn't want to bring my plan, but I'm gonna show you guys some things a little later. Every house I go to, just so you know, and again, this is like my strength, I go with a different plan. Because there's no house, this is not a fucking, it's not cookie cutters. You're going to one new house, remodeled house, shitbox house, whatever it is. So every house is gonna have a different plan. So what I wanna get to that, guys, is cater your plan to the type of home. You got what I'm saying? Like, if you're going to a brand new construction house, you better bring the Lambos and the fucking films and the badass shit, and you better get ready. If you're going to a original house, you don't have to really go that crazy. You understand what I'm saying? Now, you always can say that you're gonna do this, that, whatever the case may be, but kind of cater your marketing campaign to the type of home you're going to. So I didn't want to get too deep on that because I couldn't make 17 listing appointments to show you guys because every house is different. And me, myself, Karl, every house that I go to, depending on the type of home, I cater my marketing campaign just for that person, for that house. Comps, price, touchy subject. Here's where we're going back. Now guys, remember our phone calls? Now we're going back in time. You're already 70% prepared, you understand? You guys know everything about that type of house, the square footage, and this is what I do. This is a super trick. I want everyone to sign that I get a piece of your next deal right now, because this is super, super, super good. What I do is that information that you got on the phone, remember everything that you studied before you got to this listing, is you explain it a little bit, and I always go, and by the way, guys, I use a program which I'm going to put here, Adobe Photoshop. That's how I do all my marketing material. And I simplify it. RPR is 2 billion pages and shit. Nobody gives a fuck. Nobody looks at it. Everybody hates that, and I've seen it. They don't even pay attention because it's so confusing and like you have to look for it. It's horrible. So I simplify everything, and I always go, Mr. Seller. Here, look at it. And then he goes, well, my house is worth 2.8. And I'm like, oh, so you think your house is worth more than these houses? And I don't say that your house is a shit box and it looks like dog ass, but I just tell him to look at, no, seriously, I just tell him to, you see how I said your house is a shit box without saying it's a shit box? I told him,
The reality.
yeah, like he's looking at it without me saying it. Sometimes, not all the times, guys, I'm not telling you that it works, but they're like, shit, man, you're right. Anyone in their right fucking mind knows that a Lambo looks better than that car. You understand what I'm saying? So what I try to do is simplify it so that I can show them and they can pick the right price. See, that's the key. The minute you fight them on the price and fight, you're 50% lost already. You understand? Because that's that egotistical fucking millionaire that doesn't care about nothing. All he wants is his price because he's smart, he's a doctor, and he's rich, right? So you kind of want to do it without fighting him. Remember, guys, positivity, forward. Never fight, never talk negative. Everything is always you, never me. Nobody cares about you. No one cares, gives a fuck what you say. All he cares about is his money. So I try to simplify it. So here, guys, comms, delivery is key. That's what I'm talking about right now. How you deliver the message that his house is a piece of shit and that it's not worth 2.9 million, but it's worth 1.8 million. You got what I'm saying? So very, very, very important. So that's your listing present one, meaning you did all that work and you studied for 5 hours and you didn't go out on Friday and they didn't even care about half of the things you said and you got the listing anyway. But the pros and cons, the pros is now you know everything about the neighborhood, you have a full marketing plan ready, and the cons, there are no cons. You're smarter, you know the neighborhood, you're ready for your next phone call, you can attack that area on a weekly basis, and now you're building your knowledge on that area. So what did you lose? Nothing. Now you can go sit at the fucking bar, and if Mr. Johnson's there, Johnson, of course, the Smiths sold last week. Oh my God, blah, blah, blah. And you can keep going and going and going because now you're more knowledgeable. So you see, I'm looking at growth so you can continue to grow at the area. This is never a one sale process. If you guys are looking for one sale, you already lost. Get the fuck out of luxury because you won't make it one sale. You got what I'm saying? Everybody cool? Understand?
Got it.
All right, good. All right, so you guys can take a pic. That's the program that I use called Adobe Photoshop, and that's what I use to, all my marketing material. I think they even have an app for the phone. So, again, I have my own style. You guys have your own style. You guys, can do it however you like. That's kind of just like more taste and more like whatever you're into and what you want to do color-wise. Very good program. I've already given you guys like 4 or 5 programs, so you see you did come out of here with something tonight. Okay, guys? Do you guys like the presentation so far?
Yes.
Good. Everybody legit?
Yeah.
Good. Thank you. Okay, just listed. That's fucking my second favorite words. First is just sold. So just listed. You got the listing. My favorite question, Billboard. Now what?
No.
All right.
Back it up.
Now you back up everything you
Everything you
said.
said.
Of course. So now you got the listing. But and then, how are you going to sell it? You have a $3 million house. Anyone? How? Like, what can you do? Bro.
You target that neighborhood?
Targeting the neighborhood is great. What else? Anyone else?
Targeting the realtors who work.
But you cheated because I told you. No, she's not allowed. You're not allowed to say that. What a cheater. Look at that. No. She actually, no, because we have a listing, and yes, by the way, really quick, let me say what she said. You target, of course, all the realtors in the area. Why? Because they have buyers. So what you do, cheater, what you do is you look back for the last year on all the sold buyer agents and listing agents. You export that file from the MLS, which George and Chris, they can show you guys how to do it for all your listings. By the way, guys, I'm gonna teach you something that's not for luxuries, for everything. You take the last 365 days and you get all the buying agents and the selling agents. How do you know they don't have a buyer that came by that's interested in something? You keep them in your database for open houses, and every time you do like a promotional email or something of that nature, I go as deep as I call all of them. Hey, Johnny, how are you? Cool. I always blow smoke up realtors' asses. I always give them a little, because everybody's super egotistical, like everybody wants to be, en magnate. So I'll call them and I'll be like, hey, John, how are you? Who the fuck are you? Because, everyone's rude in Miami. Who are you? John, I'm sorry to bother you, but I've been looking on the MLS and it shows that you're one of the best realtors in the entire Coral Gables. What? For real? Oh my God, it's such a pleasure to get you on the phone, John, but I just wanted to give you oh my God, if you would hear me, you'd die. You have to look the other way. John, what a pleasure to speak with you today. I just wanted to let you know that I'm having an open house, and not only would it be a pleasure, it would be an honor just to have you go to my open house, and maybe you can, share my listing with some of your buyers. How do you feel, John? Hell yeah, Karl, I'll go. They're going to my open house. They're now my friend. Do you see how I smoothed out the conversation?
Oh my God.
So blow a little smoke up their ass. You got what I'm saying? Because everyone's a dickhead in the city. They're super rude. But if you call someone and you tell them you're great, wow, yeah, you sold that house, because you'll see that since you guys are looking for the information on the MLS, you'll know the house they sold. So you can already start the conversation like, oh, I love that you sold that house on 11742. The house was beautiful. What a great job. You're already his friend. And now, believe it or not, guys, realtors in your network, I know sometimes it sounds like it's a waste of time. I have an offer right now on a $1.5 million deal that is a realtor that is my friend. That I met him through, seriously, I met him through that, came to my open house, and he has a buyer that we're negotiating an offer right now. So it does work. So every time you sell in an area, be acquainted with the people that sell in the area. It's a small circle, just like in the luxury world. All the luxury agents are my friends. I have the biggest agents coming to my open houses: Eloy Carmenate, Nelson Gonzalez, Monica Betancourt. They're my friends. Why? Because we're all in the same network. You got what I'm saying? But how would I do that? Every time I would get a listing in these big boy neighborhoods, I would go to all the open houses. And then what I would do, I would tell them to show me the house. And if you guys only know all the words and the fancy bullshit that I learned, because I would watch them show me the houses. So I learned about Baccarat, Pedini Kitchens, Mia Cocina, like all this shit that I never know about. But now I can speak the language, you got what I'm saying? So now Millionaire 2 comes in and I can be like bam, 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 bam all day because I learned from everybody else. So you definitely want to, learn all the realtors that sell in the area, be acquainted with them, become friends with them. Okay, now I'm gonna show you guys just crazy shit that I've done. These are like, I'm getting like I just listed, so I've gone super far. Remember the Rhodes house that I told you about that I won from the developer? So Salty Donut was opening, and I had a Salty Donut open house, so I made crazy marketing material. Our Basil was in that area. The house took me like a year to sell. It was the worst thing. It was overpriced. I couldn't get them to go down in price. So these are just some of the marketing materials that I would do for myself, of course. I would have a ton of people come in. I do events, 10,000 of people. This house was on the beach, waterfront. I had 120 people go to an event. It was insane. That was this guy Igor. He's annoying, but he's super cool. I do SEO advertising. You guys can go on Zillow right now, and I guarantee you my property has more views than any other property in the entire Zillow. 36,000 views, 114 saves. Right now, we're working with an offer for that property right now. That's something that I also do for my sellers. I own a marketing company, so I'm a little cheater too. So I know how to do SEO and all that other shit, but again, this is something that I do for my sellers to get my property out there. So now, why do I get it? And I try to flood people to go here because nobody trusts you, but everybody trusts Zillow, right?
Yep.
Zillow, everyone loves Zillow, so that's why I do SEO campaigns for that. This was an open house I had, it was on the water. So what I did is I wanted all the rich motherfuckers from the golf course to come. So what do they relate to? The PGA Tour. So I made little custom things. I went knocking on 150 doors. They would scan this and they would get a free Prosecco when they would come, and they would come to my open house. So again, think outside the box, do things for your clients. My developer loved that shit. He was like, oh, my God, you're so creative. Thank you for doing that. We had a ton of people come by. Nobody has bought my house for my marketing efforts yet, just so you guys know, 0. But I've gotten 120,000 people in the door, okay?
What's a Prosecco?
Huh?
A Prosecco?
What do you
You
mean?
got a free Prosecco?
Oh no, yeah, like I had a thing, like you would come and that VIP little pass came out of the thing and you get a bottle of Prosecco and you get suntan lotion because the house was on the water. Some shit like that, I don't know, I don't remember. This was super cool. Do you guys remember my developers, the house on the roads? So I made like a Miami Heat ticket. And the section is actually the real section of the house, town range, that was the square footage. 4.3 miles from our champs. So I was trying to sell the house if you wanted to live close to Brickell in downtown. So I made these custom tickets that were like Miami Heat tickets, and you would scan that and it would go to the video. That was the open house, Karl Hueck, MLS number, and I went to every single brokerage in the area and I invited every single agent, you know, like, hey, would you come to my open house? Would you come to my open house? It was super fucking amazing. I had 1 million people there. That's just creative, thinking outside the box. I was close to the arena. I wanted people to feel like they had a home, but they were still close enough to the city. So they weren't so far out in the suburbs, but they can be in Brickell in 2 minutes. So again, I thought outside the box. This is my developer. This was super cool. This was, I made a European passport and I had a Tour de France open house, like with 3 other open houses. So I designed a European passport, and instead of putting like Italy and all these fucking places in Europe, I put all the houses, and you would go and you would stamp each one, and at the last one you would drop it out and we would give you a free iPad to the winner. So again, thinking outside the box, trying to sell my properties however I can. In each house we had crepes and strawberries, we had some other shit, I don't know, we had different things in each house, but it was the coolest thing. My sellers, again, my sellers, how happy are my sellers now, guys? My sellers are like, oh my God, you did this, you did that. You're trying to get a buyer in here. Again, that house sold and the other house sold too. Now sold, ladies and gentlemen, gone. This is my latest, biggest sale. I sold the house to Little Pump for $4.65 million. Now this is a very, very amazing story that I want to tell you guys. This came out on The Real Deal. I was featured in The Real Deal. You can see it right there. My partner, I'm going to give a shout out. That guy is super great. We did it together. Luis Dominguez and I represented the developer. That's the last house that we just sold right now on the beach, waterfront. This house, we must have done, and which we're getting just to the end of my presentation. This house, guys, I must have done like 9 videos. I did an event with over 120 people. I'm not kidding you. I showed this house, this is a $5 million house. I showed it 3 to 4 times a week. That's not normal for such a big house. We had everyone in the world. Fat Joe came and saw the house. We had everyone in the world and we could not sell it. Me and my partner almost fucking cried. We're like, fuck bro, we show this shit all the time. The whole fucking world knows about this house. We did every video in the world, events, fucking boats. We had a yacht in the, we did everything in the world. And one day, my friend Luis tells me, your friend Luisa, which is another agent, again, remember what I said, know the agents, I know all the luxury agents. Your friend Luisa is out showing houses to Little Pump. Why don't you hit her up? I'm like, fuck it, let me hit her up. So I call Luisa. Luisa, I'm gonna send you an unbranded video. By the way, I make unbranded videos for all my houses because I share them with agents so that you guys can share with your buyers. Luisa calls Pump's mom and they make a showing request. Pump's mom comes to the house, they see it once. Little Pump comes to the house a second time. Fucking weird, but cool as shit. I met him. It was the coolest thing in the world. They came 3 more times and the story tells itself. House is sold. So that house sold, ladies and gentlemen, I'm getting to the end of my presentation. That house sold from a DM on Instagram. That's how that house sold. After I did 2,924 things for that house, it sold off a DM. So what do you guys, and this is a very important question, what do you guys think about all the shit that I did for this house? No, I want to know, what do you think of everything that I did and it sold through a DM?
Don't reinvent the wheel. Stick to your basics.
Don't forget
Go
the
ahead, Tex.
basics.
No.
No, that you could do all the marketing on the world paying and the free marketing won out. So it doesn't matter what you do.
Out of everything you did, it always ties back to follow-up.
Follow-up, yes, agree with you.
And
100%.
relationships that you build.
Relationships, definitely, and again, moving forward, but do you guys feel, this is a very important question, do you feel like all the marketing was maybe a waste of time, waste of money? It's a very important question.
Not necessarily.
You probably gain sellers through it.
Well, I want to let you guys all know that you're all 100% completely right. That no, it wasn't a waste of time, and that's what I'm going to get to right now. So ladies and gentlemen, now that I sold this house for $4.6 million, leverage is the last thing that I end this presentation with. 4.6 million bucks. But I gave service to all of my clients, new listing, $2.9 million. A developer saw the marketing that I did for that house, went over to one of my open houses and said, that's the best fucking marketing I've ever seen in my life. That's my listing. You can go on the MLS right now, $2.9 million. Ladies and gentlemen, another listing, $3.2 million on the water. That's my listing right now. Same developer that gave me the other one, gave me this listing too. He had 2 waterfront listings, came to my house in an open house before I sold it, and told me, that's the best marketing I've ever seen in my life. Here's your new listing. Hold on, I'm not done. New listing, $7.5 million. Some of you have been to it. This is my listing right now. I want to tell you guys I got this bitch. A fucking EDDM. I sent a just sold flyer. The shit got to this house. And you know, for people who say, oh, that shit doesn't work. That shit works. $7.5 million. That's my listing. Go on the MLS right now. It's live. I show it every week. I got 2 showings tomorrow. I bet you're selling this week. One more words. So this one I got. So that's 7. Another listing. 7.5 million. Leverage, guys. I don't even know how much we're at now. Hold on. 288 Palm Ave. The developer. I don't have pictures of it because it's new construction. The developer that we sold Pump's house is so happy with our service. Remember, all the shit that we did for the house, even though it didn't sell it, he was so happy. My next listing in Palm Island, next to all the stars, 2.6 million, a super nice house. New listing, guys, remember the ticket by the Miami Heat? The one that I did for the house on the road? You guys all remember the one that I did? Developers call me back, new listing on the MLS right now, 3.199 million. Look at this bad bitch. Why? Because of the service that I gave them, because everything that I did, because of my efforts, they call me back, and this is my latest listing. How many buyers, by the way, for all these? And another one. This one is great. We sold the house for $4.6 million, and a developer calls us from London, and they're building another house on the beach, and they were watching that house since it was under construction. And he said, since you guys got that house, you guys blew that shit out of the water. That shit was everywhere. Everybody was talking about that house. You guys did such a great job.